This portion of Morning Scramble is brought to you by Gurley Street Grill. Quality, quickly.
In the studio with us right now, Keith Ballard, talking about, yes, we are lagging behind when it comes to the report card. Our report card in the world is not real good when it comes to education. What would you give us right now if you had to rate our report card?
Well, the government might say a B. I'd say it's something like maybe a C- at best. Let me just tell you real quick. We spend the second most in the world per capita on students. There's a test called the PISA. By the merits of our government, it's the #1 determinant on how our students are comparing in the world to all the other industrialized countries. By the way, China decided to get involved in this test in 2009 just to take a whack at it. Guess how they did in the Shanghai region of 24 million. First in the world, right out the gates, first in the world in science, first in the world in math, and first in the world in reading. And by the way, this test doesn't just measure academic performance, which you know, but it's a practical test, how you can apply. And it blew the world away. They said, hey, you know what, the Chinese are for real. So
we're second in the world of money spent, throwing money to it, aren't we?
Right.
And we end up with what? Here's
the best we can do. 31st in the world in math, 23rd in science, and 17th in reading. Let me tell you something. If you're a country that's going to lead and innovate in the future, that's not going to do it. China and India are coming up so strong and so hard. America doesn't know what's going to hit them. You know what the next tsunami is going to be? The Chinese public educational system.
When we left the first segment, we were talking with Keith, we talked about technology. I wanted to ask him how technology plays a role in Chinese, Asia, Chinese, the China culture, and how technology plays here. I perceive it this way. I tend to simplify things. Yes. I think we've taken technology, thrown our kids to it, or let them go to it. It's the babysitter, it's the teacher. In China, I would suspect that technology is used differently.
You know, you've read my mind. I look at things a simple way, too. And China does. And I've told China, I've gone around and talked to their teachers and administrators, hundreds of them. And I told them how we use it. And they laugh. And the first thing they say to me, by the way, I want to say this real quick. What's happened is we're kind of desperate. We're fishing for straws because we've made so little gain and we put so much money into this thing. So all the technology companies are selling us, and the superintendents of state education are buying it. And what they're saying is, with great technology and giving kids iPads and this and that, we're going to basically close the achievement gap. And here's what China's doing. China uses technology, but they use it as a tool. They have computer labs, but it's very well controlled. They know that if you give a kid an iPad or a computer, it would be like giving a kid in 8th grade. They're just going to abuse it, and that's what they do. And the Chinese have figured that out. And it sickens me to see this new huge waste of money.
But like you said on commercial break, we have created our own Frankenstein monster.
Our monster.
We
have
done it. Okay. Now, parents. A recent study shows that parents are reading less and less to their children.
Sure.
Therein lies some of the culprit. Also, you wanted 230 days they spend in school, we spend 180. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, here's the real thing. I mean, this is what our government hasn't figured out. We're kind of pretty much, we had No Child Left Behind in 2003 with Bush. I call it most children left behind, okay? And I think even the Republicans have come to that conclusion, But, here's what it is. The Chinese do about 230 school days a year, and we're doing about 180 here, okay? And that's huge. That's 50 to 55 days a year. They do about 3 to 3.5 hours more per day. Okay. They're starting kindergarten roughly at 2 years old, and we start at 5, and about maybe a third or 25% of our kids start at 6. Okay. So and remember I brought that point that they virtually don't have any discipline problems. So in the tangible measurements, here's what it's going to look like. At the end of the day, at age 18, which is a typical graduation rate for our students in Chinese, they're going to be about 6 years ahead if you go with Arizona school time. And the number's going to look more like 8 years ahead if you factor in these two things. Again, how much time do we lose in our schools because of discipline problem? A huge amount of time. I told you before, they virtually don't have any discipline problems. So our kids are off task a lot due to these discipline problems. And the second thing here is that, we're just going to have to really get it together. I'm telling you.
You know, I have said, I contended again, I simplify things. Again, the kindergarten thing. I don't know if I take as much issue with that as I do if we're going to be 5 years old to start, then children should graduate later. I think we graduate children a little too young. We put them out at 18. They are not yet, in my opinion, equipped at 18 for that world. I've always lobbied and thought that maybe we have the graduation at 18, 19, or 20 is when you finish your high school years. But anyway, having said that, where can they get you, Keith? Where can they find you and catch up to you?
Well, my YouTube channel is Keith Ballard 1, all spelled Keithballard, just the number 1. And you can see about 55 different videos of what I've taken in China and India. And
his resume reads like the who's who. Probably War and Peace here too. It's about 5 pages long. That's why I didn't even go through any of it. But Keith, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank you. America's got to wake up, man. I mean, we're getting behind, and we got to quit talking about it. We got to do something.
He's very passionate about this. Man after my own heart. Girly Street Girl is a sponsor of the show. We want to tell you about that right now. The Girly Street Girl is where you can get the most popular duo in town. That duo is burger and a beer and or pizza and a beer. Well, not and or. Burger and a beer or pizza and a beer or a glass of wine and a pizza for $8. It is the most popular duo out there. Where can you find it? At the Girly Street Grill, 230 West Girly. They are a Fork in the Road family restaurant. What's also happening there? Right around the corner, it's Father's Day. That's the place to take your dad. He's telling you he wants to go to the Girly Street Grill for Father's Day.